Welcome to Through the Wire.
Through the Wire.
Back at the regular set after a beautiful All-Star weekend.
Exactly, man. Aren't y'all happy to be back?
I am happy to be back because as good as All-Star weekend was, it left me hungry for more.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
That was like the first vacation we went on. Where
That's not a vacation. We can't count. It's not a vacation.
Work trip.
Yeah,
Work
it's
trip.
not a vacation.
Yeah.
Like when we go to New
We
York.
can tell he don't be doing shit when we out there for work.
Nah, like when we in New York, like y'all was saying, like you want to come home. When I was there, I never really I didn't want to come home.
What was the reason for that though? Was it the house?
Yeah,
was
the
it
house
the
was a big part of it.
Maybe the house.
I'd
I
rather
think it was
have
part
that
of that.
Airbnb than
the hotel?
a hotel.
Yeah. I think the hotel life makes you want to just go home.
I don't know.
People that don't know, we lived in like this lakeside mansion for like 4 or 5 days. So that's a lot different than the average hotel. Not even average. They always put us up in nice hotels, but that's
Y'all
different
see,
than the nice
I'm
hotels.
gonna drop a vlog tomorrow before this episode, after this episode. But I like hotels. Y'all don't like hotels?
Hotels are cool,
Especially in
but
New York. I like New York hotels.
something about that lakefront was just
Yeah.
crazy.
Something about that lake house just made you not want to leave.
Yeah.
I was ready to go home, though.
I was ready to
Just
record another
because-
show.
Yeah, and because the Charlotte weather got tricky on us.
Yeah.
When we first got there, it was all nice.
Yeah, we were like, okay, let's go. This weekend about to be
Then
good.
it started raining and getting cold. It was like, damn, I could be in Chicago with this.
Right.
So
And we will be in Chicago next year for it.
that's a big fact. And that's why I was ready to come back and just do better, continue to grow, put out some fire episodes so that next year in Chicago we can really run shit.
We got to do some recruiting next year too.
What kind of recruiting?
We got to make these free agents realize that this is the place to be.
That's gonna be tough.
Yeah, I don't know how you're going to do that.
They not
Next year,
expecting
free
you to
agency's
do
not
it.
even like fire anyway.
They not expecting you to recruit for them anyway because they don't know if you're a Bull fan or a Blazer or a Spur fan.
I love them all.
So who are you recruiting for?
Ooh,
The Bulls.
I don't like that answer, man.
Greg Popovich don't either. What are you? Okay, if you were hired to recruit people to Chicago, what would be your selling pitch?
See,
Especially, and then you have to think about it. You said you want to recruit during All-Star Weekend. We know next year All-Star Weekend in Chicago is going to be a lot of coats, a lot of hats, and it's going to be a little cold.
See, with all that extra clothes, it brings more fashion. Which
Okay.
you can wear the nice coats
I like-
and all that.
I like that.
So look, we got the nightlife, we got the big city, big lights. The media isn't here as much as like LA and New York. It's here, but it's not as big. So you get a little bit more privacy.
But
you can get away from the big city.
But listen to what you just said.
What's up?
You said the media not as here as much as LA and New York. Those are the two top ones. We the third one. out of 20, out of 30. That's 27 other cities that we above.
I know, but like the media is just not all in your face here like they are in the other states.
And
Another
what?
two states.
Just two though.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, we got the nightlife.
They
we got
getting the best of both worlds. He trying to say
Exactly.
He said-
We the big city with all the attention, and you'll be able to have your own personal life.
But let's say, do you think that when they come there, that's when the
Exactly,
attention gonna come? Because ain't no attention here because we ass.
I think they can get away from it. 'cause
Y'all
They can
put up
go
a
out.
nice
They can
win
go out to the
yesterday.
Hey, I
suburbs.
want to talk about that. Don't get me wrong.
They can get away from it.
You don't think they in the suburbs of Los Angeles?
Yeah, but
Right.
it's different. Like they in like Beverly Hills and all those other high end like areas where all the celebrities are.
Okay, like Calabasas.
Yeah, exactly.
So what about the nightlife are you selling when you say that? The nightlife.
With the clubs.
So if you told it to Kevin Durant, he say, "Oh, okay, what clubs you be going to? What would you suggest? What would you then tell him?"
I couldn't tell you. I
So
don't
he
know.
would be like, he would say you're lying.
I would have to do my research on the top clubs in Chicago.
Okay, you'd be willing to do that. Okay, I'm just curious to see what you would be selling. That's all. Because I don't know what it is to sell, and you didn't mention anything about basketball.
That's
So-
how,
Oh yeah, the
that's
team,
how I thought he
the
was going
team
to get
speaks
to.
for itself.
no, it don't.
No, it
No, it
don't.
don't. Come on.
Hey, 3-2 since traded for Automatic.
Only issue is Jim Boylan.
That's a big ass issue.
But recently, he been letting the boys play a little bit. He not yanking players for bad shots.
Because the way
Facts.
they was originally going, you could tell that he I don't know if he wasn't going to lose his job because he had just got
I like
it.
how we just transitioned into the Bulls.
You know, and that's perfect because I wanted to talk about this to open up the show.
Go ahead. The floor is yours.
People do not understand this new 2019 NBA draft lottery rule. It is blowing my mind because I tweeted after that big win last night against the Orlando Magic. That look, we're 3-2 since trading for Otto Porter, and I'm happy.
Somebody must have said, "Why are y'all winning games?"
But you're losing in the long run, is what somebody said.
They said Zion is slowly slipping away.
That's yep. And listen, people need to understand that this is not like the previous 60 years of the NBA. It's not the worst team gets 25% chance, and the next team get 18, the next team get 11. That's not how it's working this year. The bottom 3 teams get 14%, and that 14 get 12.5.
And y'all still bottom 3. Am I correct?
We're 4.
4.
And then 5 is Atlanta, and they're still like 5 games ahead of us. So right now we're like locked into the 4th best odds, which is still 12% against 14%.
We all gonna name a team that's ahead of y'all since it's only 3. Knicks.
Knicks are 1.
I know one other one for sure.
The bottom teams in the league.
Come on.
Oh, the Nets.
The
Nets are in the playoffs right now.
I don't know. I mean, they're above.
The Suns.
Oh, the bottom. Okay, I'm just thinking in the East.
Wait, what? That still don't make sense.
I was just thinking the teams ahead of the Bulls in the East, but
No, we're talking below.
This the Suns, the Cavs, and
Okay, the Cavs. What's
The
that?
Nets. The Nets are making a playoff
They're
run.
the 6th seed.
Oh my God, the PCP is
Anyway,
back.
the point I'm trying to make is us winning a few more games right now is not really hurting us in the long run because the odds are still gonna be about the same.
Yeah.
They did this to prevent teams from bottoming out completely for 25% chance to get that first overall pick. If we ended up at the 4,
We still
which
have a
we are right
chance.
now, we still have 12.5% chance versus 14%.
But you still want that 14.
Yeah.
Sure, but
The
it's
Bulls want
not
the
that
14.
much of a difference. So making a trade for Otto Porter, who helps you win right now, don't really matter because we're still the team above us is the Atlanta Hawks, and as I mentioned, they're 4 games above us. We're probably not gonna catch the Atlanta Hawks because they give teams good runs. Just like last night, they played against the Pistons, and it was a close game. They almost ran away with that. So chill. If we win it's a couple more games than we expected, that is okay. And also, please don't make me the cover boy of Bulls fandom. I know I got a decent amount of fans on YouTube and stuff, but I don't want to be the spokesperson for Bulls fandom because there's so many Bulls fans and we all think differently. My
Meaning
opinion,
What makes you say that?
because somebody was asking like, who's the king of Bulls fandom, and I got mentioned a lot, and I don't want to be the king of that. My opinion is different than the average Bulls fan, most likely. So I don't want to be the one that represents the whole fandom. Like, find someone else for that.
right, you're not the king of the Bulls. You're the king of the 4th quarter.
That was when you take a piece of corn on the cob and you put it on your knee.
I mean, speaking of the draft though, do y'all think Zion should still play after what happened?
Yes,
Yes.
I do.
Yes.
I seen Charles Barkley say something that was so genius.
Yeah.
Not
What did he
genius,
say?
but it was just so real. It was like on TNT, and they was speaking of it. He was like, "I hate to use the word hate, but you know what I hate? I hate when people say you shouldn't play." He's like, "Why? Since when money become like such as the number one thing? Like basketball players, their whole thing is to play basketball.
That's why they
it's
do it.
like,
They love it.
He's like, we here to play, so it's like sitting out is so damn lame." And he was just saying like, Shaq played 3 years, Michael Jordan played.
Oh,
3
yeah, I did
years.
see this. Right, right.
Duncan played 3 years.
So it's like 4, and then it's like so like why sit out? You know what I mean? And it ain't nothing big.
Yeah.
he didn't do
Right.
anything,
He was
and he
like-
got insurance. So he got an $8 million insurance, so he gonna be cool. Whatever, you know.
I mean, if we've been real with each other, if he did tear something, he's
was
out for a
still-
year. He was still the number 1 pick.
And you know,
he was literally preserving nothing.
I literally was on Twitter saying that RJ Barrett is not that guy when it comes to the number 1 pick. Like, it's just Zion. And people really think that, like, bro, it's just Zion. There is no chance that Zion is not the number 1 pick.
I think people are kind of high on RJ Barrett. Obviously, he for good reason, but
Yeah,
it's
he's
just
a
like
good player.
he would be the typical scorer in the NBA now. The person that's going to be that high volume shooter, you know, which
Yeah, which
is
is-
going to be a future star.
He's why I think he needs to go to like the why I can't think of their team name. Cavaliers, because they don't have shit else. I couldn't picture RJ Barrett with the Suns with Devin Booker and DeAndre because he's just gonna put up shots.
The funny thing about that whole situation is that was the first game I wasn't tuning in to watch them play because there was no
Like
basketball.
30 seconds in,
And he goes
30
out.
seconds
I am
in.
so glad that I think about shit now because we was in a chat and I had a text that was like, because like you, a lot of people watching the game that don't normally watch it, but it was such a big game. So I'm in a group chat. Flex, who don't watch no damn college basketball, was just talk. He was just being goofy, talking about like, yeah, that boy Zion finna do his thing as if he know. and I literally had a text that was like, Zion, that's crazy if Zion get hurt this game. But I didn't do it for some reason. I went to go do something else and didn't do it, and he literally got hurt. And I'm like, yo, I'm glad I ain't say that or put it on Twitter.
Yeah,
that was gonna be crazy.
It's I mean, we should talk about the whole one and done situation because the NBA officially put in like I don't even what's the right word for it?
They proposed
a request, right? Proposed a request to get rid of the one and done rule, and this was like. This is not the reason for this. They've been talking about it for a few years now, but like this
This is
one
like
moment,
a catalyst for it because it's like one of the biggest players in a while,
Mm-hmm.
and he gets hurt, and it just kind of brought attention to it. I don't know. I mean, obviously we agreed on like they should be able to come out of high school straight.
Right.
Same thing with being able to get a job straight out of high school.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's why I agree with it. And I think what it does is it forces the NBA people to really do their research and really do their job because a lot of the change was that, a lot of players come in and they aren't what they think of. And I've seen some names like, the Harrison twins were highly touted before they went to college. And then when they got to college, their stock dropped. And we seen that with a lot of different people. And people say that college helps you see that more in players. But I think it just means that the NBA people who are doing it, they have to really be better. Maybe that they add something in the draft, pre-draft workouts or something that I don't know.
I mean, I like the idea. I know it'll never happen, but I like the idea of using the G League as a way to get those players transitioned into the NBA.
Like, what about 1 year in the G League?
Now, it don't even just give them a run in G League.
The reason I don't like that is because some players don't need it.
No, I'm not saying it wouldn't be mandatory, but I would like for teams to like we draft a guy out of high school. Let's say he's second round. He's not Zion. He's second round, but we think that we draft him out of high school because he's got the potential. Throw him in the G League for a couple months, see how he develops and stuff like that.
Happens now, even with players out of college. If a player comes out of college and they have some potential, but they don't get enough run on like Derek White. For the Spurs, when he first drafted, he didn't just get minutes. He had to do some time, and he got assigned to G League, to get some minutes and to get some opportunity. So they definitely do that, and they will continue to do that. But I don't know. I like it because I don't think you should restrict anybody from doing what they want to be, doing what they want to do. I just can't wait to hear the response from college basketball because they're the biggest loser.
Right.
If this happens.
And they give the excuse of obviously the education, right? Like Charles Barkley even said it in his when he was talking, is that there's a very small percentage of college athletes that end up hitting the pros. So the idea of getting this education for free is good for a majority of the people that go to college. But for that small point percent that are good enough to make it pro right out of high school, they should just have the chance to do that.
Because they don't even really use the education regardless anyway.
When it comes to the players that make it.
Yeah.
Right. But my main problem with the NCAA is that the player, not that they don't pay the players, but that the players can't get paid off other things.
Right.
If Zion Williamson can't sign a magazine for $10 and make some money for some food, that bothers the heck out of me because it's his likeness. They were selling his likeness 10 years ago to make the NCAA games, and nobody got a piece of that except for the big heads of the NCAA. I would just like for, even if they're not paying players out of their pocket, if Kentucky's not paying players, that they can make their own money off their name, and they still can't. That's the biggest problem for me. The reason why I'm not a fan of the NCAA.
Yeah, because if you go and buy a Duke #1 jersey, it's because of Zion Williamson that you bought it.
I was gonna say also with that Austin Rivers jersey you had.
Yeah,
I literally got a jersey right there, Illinois jersey for D Brown. D Brown ain't getting no proceeds of that money to get that jersey, and now he's actually an assistant coach over there at Illinois. So shout out to D Brown. But that's my biggest problem with the NCAA.
It's tough for me because like I said, I like the one and done. I like that the players can come out whenever they feel like it. But I also like players in college. I do. It's exciting. You get to see, especially when guys like to go somewhere by themselves, you get to kind of see their character. Some guys team up, and then you can see how they coexist with others. Mm-hmm. Like Zion is teaming up with Cam Reddish, RJ Barrett, and he's still leading the pack by a large margin. You can see guys like Lonzo Ball go to UCLA, and the team was had a losing record under 500 and wasn't making a tournament. He goes, and then they become a top 2 team in the nation at one point and go in the tournament. You can see him change around the whole thing. Or then you can see guys like Ben Simmons also go, and Markelle Fultz. And they don't do anything with their team or not enough to carry their team, and they still that good to be the number 1 pick. So it's a lot of different variables. And I seen somebody talk about the Zion thing. They like, if he comes back and he plays and that Duke team go to Final Four, national championship, some crazy run, his stock is only going to go up. And he says that's going to help, with shoe deals and all type of things. So
yeah, because one of the issues is he didn't want to re-injure it because obviously his physique, he's 285 pounds and whatnot, and you could really hurt your knee if you coming down on that wrong. But I think it'd still be good for him to at least play through that, because when you come from an injury like that, it wasn't that big, but it's still in your head, and you don't want him going into the pros with that same mindset, and he end up re-injuring it because he favoring the wrong leg or anything. I think it's best for him to get as much, not practice, but enough reps in that he gets back to where he wants to be.
I mean, there are some decent arguments for players going to college, and P just mentioned one.
The development.
The development.
Mm-hmm. I think going into it, Zion, we basically just known him as a dunker. Mm-hmm. But I think
just the average fan.
Yeah, the average fan would have just seen him as a dunker just because that's what they post of his highlights. Now we see him as, a
playmaker, a defender, everything.
Ridiculous athlete.
And that's where it becomes like
it comes to your eye that he's
what's they call it, foolish goal? Is that what they call it? Because it's like when he was doing it in high school, it was like, okay, he's doing it in high school. It's a little 5'7" white guy, a 6'2" center. But now when he's in the college, you see he's still doing the same things against 6'11" guys or a 7-foot guy. He's monitoring everybody, because high school is a different thing. Everybody in high school is just there. You can literally just be in high school and make the team, and you'll never play basketball again. But when guys are in college, you know that they got a scholarship to play. Mm-hmm. They are there to play basketball. They have a certain talent.
Yeah, better competition.
Yeah, so it's way more competitive. It's a way more bigger field, and you playing against people who match up with you a lot more better. And that we get to see, oh shit, he's actually dominant because he's a dominant basketball player. It's not just because we've seen high school basketball players who be real dominant, and then they get to NCAA and they fall out or whatever. Mm-hmm. They was calling Perry Jones the next Tracy McGrady.
I remember that. Yeah, I remember Perry Jones.
Perry Jones is in and out of the league.
Yeah.
Shout out to Perry Jones. But that type of stuff happens all
Perry
the time.
Jones, whose mixtape was crazy. It's a lot of players like that, though.
That's kind of why I'm on the side of I think the one and done is like a good thing.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot. Hey,
it's not that it's a good thing. I think players should just have that option to either take that step.
They still gonna have the option. Right. The option always gonna be there. And that's the other part is that they get the option, because now with the one and done thing, you don't have an option. You have to go.
Right.
And I think we still will see players go to college for 1 year, because it's just so.
Sometimes, most of the time, it's smart.
Yeah, smart.
Get your draft stock up
and just go to Europe.
That's just too much to ask of a 17, 18-year-old kid to go to a whole nother world for a year and got to play with grown men. And
how often has that worked? Because we saw like Emmanuel Mudiay do it.
Didn't work.
We've seen
Brandon Jennings was the pioneer. Didn't really. I mean, it worked for him, but I would have liked to see him at Arizona with Jared Bayless, which was the ultimate plan before he knew he was going to be ineligible. And I think that would help them more.
I'm trying to think. There are a couple more players who do something very similar to that, where they avoided college by doing something else.
Terrence Ferguson.
Or you got like Mitchell Robinson, who just said, forget it, I'm going to work out for a year, and then hopefully I get drafted.
That hurts your stock significantly.
And that's why he went where he went. Or he didn't get drafted at all, right? Or was it a very late second round? Okay. But then there's also the argument that, like, if they do get the one and done rule or keep it, the product of the NBA is better. Because you think about, I'm looking at the 2004 people that came straight out of high school. Sean Livingston, who's made himself into a decent NBA career.
And when he was drafted, he was the real deal.
And before the injury and everything.
And the Clippers went to the playoffs.
Robert Swift, who got arrested for stealing people's stuff. Sebastian Telfair, Al Jefferson, Josh Smith, J.R. Smith, Darrell Wright.
Slow down. Go back to the second person you named was Robert Smith, right?
Robert Swift.
That went to Seattle Supersonics at high school. White people, 7-footer.
Yep.
He's just actually crazy, though.
No, he's real crazy. Like, he just got arrested maybe a year ago.
Shooting up his own house.
Yeah, he's Real crazy
But
person.
the guys after him is what I want to hear you name.
Sebastian Telfair, who's supposed to be the next big thing, didn't really pan out to be that.
Nope.
Al Jefferson had a couple years, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure, where he
yeah.
was All-Star, or at least one. Josh Smith was a productive NBA
Yep.
player when they
All-Star.
given him minutes. J.R. Smith had a decent career, and it's still
Champion.
going on. Darrell Wright, he had a
Yeah.
couple years.
Yeah.
And that's all from 2014. But those players that we mentioned that end up having decent careers, it took them 3 to 4 years anyway to be productive NBA players. So if they just went to high school for a year, it's just a little bit different.
You're right.
The development happens faster when they go to college versus them coming straight into the league with the big boys.
But some of them will say that they developed as good as they did
Because
by
they were guarding
being,
LeBron for a game or something.
or
like
just
that.
being around professionals.
Yeah.
Having that focus to do it. Because when you do go to college, I know it's a lot of stuff out there that players don't do everything that they're asked to do. But if you watch the Ben Simmons one and done documentary, he didn't want to do it, but he still had to be a student.
Right.
He still had to do certain things,
And then
which
he-
takes your
didn't he
focus
leave
off
campus after-
as soon as it was done.
Right.
He left.
And that's why I think the G League is such a good idea because it's just better competition. At least I think better than college too, because these are like borderline NBA players you're playing against, which you would hope to see at the next level.
And they would get money immediately
Right.
from it also.
When you're a professional, you don't have to worry about going to school. You don't
Right.
have to worry about living on campus.
passing tests and being
Exactly.
eligible and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
you can really focus on getting because like a lot of kids coming out of high school, that's just it's the fact that their bodies won't be ready. So now you can get with a personal trainer, you can get with a nutritionist, and do all of those type of things. You can learn from a guy like, let's just say you drafted out of high school and you go to the Timberwolves. You can learn from a Karl Anthony Towns or whoever the hell. I don't know. I don't know who's a good example, but I don't know.
Carlton Towns missed his first game ever last night.
Due to a car accident too, which is crazy because Jim Boeheim killed somebody accidentally too. But Greek Freak had a good body transition.
Yep.
That's who we are.
57 pounds of muscle.
So a guy like that, you can come in and be like,
That's just a weird fact to know, right?
That you know the exact number.
The weird number.
60,
Right.
57.
He ain't
was
round
a-
up or down. He gave you the exact number of muscle he put on.
If I was a 6'9", 6'8" guy coming into the league and I was super skinny and frail, he would be one of the first guys I would want to learn from.
Yeah.
Because a lot of guys try to do that and they don't do it successfully. Like Kevin Durant has done tremendous with his body, but he still has a very thin frame.
Right.
Yeah.
Greek Freak is one of the few guys that came in thin and like
put on actual muscle.
Yeah.
Like his
So-
whole body type just changed.
he's a dude that if I was a young teenage guy and I got drafted by the Bucks in the second round or late first round, I would definitely want to be under his wing 24/7 rather than going to college, I guess, per se. And getting that experience. But like you said, it's like any situation in life. It's a bunch of pros, it's a bunch of cons, and the best thing about this rule is that they get to pick which pros and cons that they want to deal with.
Yeah, but
Right.
if you're a big name college player, you still can like have connects with like NBA players. You can still talk to them. They will reach out. to you
No,
and
talking
everything.
is you could talk to anybody from anywhere, but what I'm saying is talking is different than being his teammate and being under his wing 24/7 throughout a full NBA season.
Yeah, okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah, so that's all it is. But the question I want to ask y'all also that ties within this is after the Zion thing happened, did y'all opinion about Nike or the Paul George shoe?
Hell no.
Yeah, because I was
No.
seeing like
Anybody that changes their opinion on
they
the shoe
actual
based
stock
on
went down.
that's
I know.
crazy. This is one shoe out of millions and
Yeah.
millions and millions of
By
shoes.
6'8", 2'8", like a dude whose body is just
And he's
not
been wearing the same shoe, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, they said he's been wearing the same.
That's
shoe for
crazy to
months.
me. That's
Even if
crazy
that was
to
a
me.
new shoe, though, he's physically something that we don't see.
Ever see.
His man 6'8", damn near 300 pounds.
You don't even
doing
see
spin
LeBron like
moves.
busting through his shoes or nothing.
Right.
Nobody busts through.
Nobody
his shoes.
busts
LeBron
through
has
shoes.
busted through a shoe.
Oh.
They put a full compilation together of Nike shoes busting.
I mean, it's LeBron though.
Exactly.
Similar body
Another
type.
guy that's
Right.
big.
So yeah, where do you think he's gonna sign shoe deal wise? I don't think he's given any indication exactly. But if you were him, where are
I
you
would go
signing?
Nike. I think Nike. Has
I think he's going to Nike. He's been a Nike guy since. Wait,
You
no.
need to start wearing the LeBrons. You know it's built for that body.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a brand out there that I would rock.
Puma.
Throw me in some Pumas, bro. Throw me in some Pumas. Shout out to Puma Hoops.
I want to see something.
Sign
I think
us.
in high school he wore Adidas.
Yeah, they have to wear whatever shoe sponsor or whatever
Yeah, see,
brand
in high
sponsors.
School, in high school he wore Adidas.
Well,
now
whatever decrease they had when that happened. It had to increase after Paul George's performance.
Oh, you get my man's transitions
I love
from
the
one topic to
transition.
another.
I love the
You know,
transition.
that's an MVP type game, right?
Yes.
That's an MVP
Was.
moment, right?
That-
Building his case. Is he catching up to Giannis? Is Giannis still like the clear cut guy?
For me, Giannis is still number one, but he's getting there for number two for sure.
He's got to be like the best player since like February. I think he's having like 38 points a game.
You're damn right, he is.
Close
He
to
averaging like
probably
38.
10 boards, something like that.
Last time I checked last night, it was like 38, 8, and 6,
Right.
which is incredible numbers and still shooting the ball very efficiently. The reason why this is such an MVP moment, like when we think back, this is going to be one of the games, if he does make that big run to win it, is because Russell Westbrook was out with he fouled out. And it was nothing but Paul George on that floor. And he was making plays, like he had that one play where he passed it to Jeremy Grant, who made the one more to Abdul Nader, who ain't hit a shot all damn game and hit a clutch three. That's an MVP performance from Paul George.
That's also why he needs to play more.
Did y'all
Nader can
see
shoot
the
ball.
box score? They had like 10 bench points.
Yeah. That, it
Him
was
and
true
Russell,
that
him
had
and
a
Russell
rough
had like
season.
combined for like
88.
points.
Yeah.
88, the fifth most of all time for two people.
This is the thing about Paul George in this MVP discussion. I love Paul George. It's no secret. To me, I love the fact that he's making this interesting. I love the fact that we had the Harden, we had the thing, and just Greek Freak is just pacing through it, but still with the lead because it's not it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. The Bucks have the best record in basketball.
Best point differential by far.
The Raptors are just one game behind them, though. And then the Thunder are third in the West, and they're 4 games behind the number 1 seed, 2 games behind the Nuggets.
Right.
Paul George is playing with a guy that is better than anybody Greek Freak has ever played with.
Yep.
And that right there is going to hurt him, even if the Raptors catch the Bucks and they fall to number 2. If that happens, then the Thunder would have to probably get to number 2, and Paul George would have to do this. The Thunder would have to finish after All-Star break like 20-5 in the last
And
25 games.
it's definitely possible, but
It is.
it's not likely.
But yeah, playing with a guy like Russell Westbrook really hurts him in this type of case because, like we said, Greek Freak, he does play with Chris Middleton, who has been playing very, very good and is an All-Star this year, but he's not a Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, but you also can say that Russell Westbrook in the past has been a hard dude to play with, and he also takes away from them.
I've
said
never
the past.
believed that.
You said the past, and I'm with Kenny. I've never believed that either.
Think about this. Okay.
Well, last year you saw with Paul George, he tried Paul George was literally like a spot up shooter. He was just shooting.
And I think a lot of that has to do with them trying to figure out each other.
Yep.
And then they also had the third wheel, which was Carmelo Anthony at that
Carmelo
time. So
And that team
I'm chalking
still
it
was
up there.
it was still a playoff team, still a good team.
But other than that one year where he was by himself with Sabonis and Victor by himself, he brings the best out of players. Kevin Durant had his MVP season alongside Russell Westbrook. Steven Adams having an all-star caliber season too right now. Jeremy Grant is having a great
Best
year.
season.
Russell Westbrook, out of all the stuff you can say bad about him,
Yeah.
he brings the best out of his teammates.
this year, yes,
Definitely this year.
No.
And in the past, it's been that
It's
one
been in
year.
the past. I think
The hero
thing with
ball
Russell
year
Westbrook-
kind of was different.
And that was his MVP year. He brought the best out of himself. So
You got to have a love-hate relationship, with
Which I
Russell
do.
Westbrook.
That's what I do.
But more times than not, you gonna have to love him because what he brings to the floor. And like you said, it's hard to make a player like Jeremy Grant do the things he does. Literally, Jeremy Grant was kind of moving around the league, but like I said, he's turned into an actual starter in this league.
Legit
Ferguson.
starter too.
Yeah.
Terrence Ferguson has got some confidence and become a reliable shooter. Roberson is a guy who offensively ain't on a crumb in the NBA, but even next to Russell Westbrook, he was able to make him useful in some type of way.
Got him 3
He
years,
became one of
30 million.
One of
They
the
even
best
had him
cutters
hyped
in
up.
the NBA.
He's a really good leader too. They even, I think Deontay Burton, like the first game he checked in, it showed Russell Westbrook mic'd up, and he was like, you know what, I'm gonna get you the ball. Next possession, he got him the ball, and I think Deontay Burton got an and-one. So you can tell that Russell Westbrook, I think, has kind of learned that he's got to put that confidence in his. If he puts the confidence in his teammates, it's gonna help him too because he's not the only one now.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't think that what do you call it? That thing
No
out
doubt,
there.
though, this is a different Westbrook this year.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
His shot is not falling, but he's doing everything else.
Lately, it's been falling.
As in like the last couple games.
3 or 4 games.
And hopefully that's a trail
If
upwards.
it does, they're scary. They're scary.
They're the second best team in the West, if you ask me.
I can't. Man, we get these two teams to match up.
Then he has 6 threes last night. That was crazy.
Woo-wee.
But it's still Giannis for me. It's still
Yeah,
Giannis for me.
definitely still Giannis. You
He's-
can't
Is
ignore what he's doing.
Utah's at 6? So would they match up in the playoffs?
Yep.
If it kept up like this,
And
that would
that's
be a good ass playoff.
That's what we want to see. That's exactly
Joe
what we
Ingles
want to see.
versus PG-13.
Again.
Come on now.
Hey,
Last
Joe
night-
Ingles want to know.
Last
Hey,
night,
he
Paul
did
George
hit-
wasn't having none
he
of the
did
Joe
hit
Ingles.
PG-13, or he hit Paul George with that.
Yeah,
That side
setback,
step.
though.
But Paul
last
George
night,
got him back
Paul
on the
George
game
kinda
winner.
he kind of
Yeah.
nipped that.
Split the double
Ingles
team and right over the best shot blocker in the league. That's a crazy shot right there. That's a crazy shot right there. But Giannis, back to Giannis, with him out, I looked this up last night because I figured that we were going to have MVP conversations here. With him on the bench, their offensive rating is 103 point something, which is bottom 2 in the league. But when he's on the floor, it's like 115, which is top 3. Mm-hmm. This is a team that was projected by ESPN to win 47 and by Bleacher Report to win 45. They're at 44 with 20 plus games left. This is because of Giannis. And of course he's got teammates around him that are knocking down shots and
they
stuff.
put the perfect team
but it's
around him.
Giannis. And because of that, he's still my MVP. Paul George's having a phenomenal year since 2019 started. He's been on fire. But Giannis has been doing this since the beginning of the season. You know, he's not averaging 38 for the month, but he's still averaging 33.
27 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists.
And 33 since the beginning of this month.
Right. At the beginning of the season, we all knew he was kind of like the clear cut just because the momentum he was bringing into that season.
Yep.
And it was his MVP to lose.
Yeah,
So-
this is Giannis MVP
And
to lose.
it's crazy because you think about James Harden is kind of starting to slow down.
Mm-hmm.
But Paul George, if you think about it, if he's in that conversation with somebody like Giannis, he's got to be someone that he's been playing like out of his mind.
Yeah.
And I think the one thing that many people that don't have Giannis number one, and if you got Paul George number one or James Harden number one, I'm not saying you're wrong because all 3 of these players are having phenomenal seasons. But with Giannis, he doesn't have that many of those MVP type moments like we got from Paul George last
And that's
night.
where that point differential kind of hurts him because a lot of times he don't need to be at the end of the game
Because they're not
There's
close.
not many close games.
But just a few nights ago against the Celtics, that was his game.
Chris Middleton hit the big shot.
It was still his game,
Yeah, it
though.
was
He got
his
that
game.
couple chase down blocks. You know, he's everywhere all the time.
I see what you mean, though,
I know what you
big
mean, though.
fella.
I know what you
I
mean.
know exactly what you mean, though. Because you want your MVP to take the big shots. the
Yeah,
last
but he
shots.
doesn't have to. He can also make the right pass, and that's still.
That's part of MVP. Like
Yeah. LeBron does it all the time.
makes that pass.
he did it.
He trusts his
last
teammates.
Night. Well, no, not last night. The night before when he passed to Reggie Bullock in the corner.
Yep.
But LeBron also can make the shot, though.
Yes, he can.
Giannis shot 1 for 2 from 3 that game, bro. 50%. That's great. That's great. But Giannis is still number one. It's always fluctuated. We still got 20 plus games left. Who knows what's going to be like at the end of the season? But if I'm putting my vote in right now, it's Giannis. Mike, who you got right now if the season were to end?
Giannis still.
P?
Yeah, Giannis. I mean,
I would go Giannis because James Harden has slowed down.
And for me, it's hard to vote MVP for someone that's he's the fifth
What?
seed. You
so
know?
when James Harden was doing this thing, did you have James Harden above him?
Yeah.
You say he slowed down, but he's still averaging like
he's
36.
still averaging.
It's his team. He's
Hey.
not winning as much, and I don't know if it's because they got Chris Paul back and they still not
Chris
focused.
Paul's
on him.
not playing bad, actually.
No, last
He had a
game he
couple
was really
teams-
good.
Yeah, I
Damn
think
near
they're
triple doubles.
They're like 5-5 with him back, or something like. They're not even above 500.
Yeah, they like 2 games behind the Blazers for the 4th spot.
But that's probably the highest they're going to get. I don't see
It
them
is.
catching
They
any other
could
team.
actually drop because the Spurs
Watching
on
that
their
Lakers
ass,
game,
the
too.
Jazz on their ass.
It's just it kind of reminds me about. It makes me worried about the Rockets in the playoffs again.
Yeah, because that game against the Lakers, they were up like 20, and then they let them come back.
And the Lakers don't have their guy again. So, I mean,
the Rockets are a team that you can come back on.
I know
any night.
LeBron the best player, but we're not going to.
No, we
Lonzo
talking about
defensively.
Defensive impact Lonzo
is
does
just
have
out
that.
of this world. So,
But I do like the lineup they threw out there. B.I., Reggie Bullock. You know, I like that lineup. But I guess Reggie's going to have to come off the bench once Lonzo comes back. Which we don't know. Like you say, he's going to have a little pushback. So it may be a little bit longer than we expected.
since we talking about the playoffs, we have a team that we all predicted would fall out of the playoffs. But as of recent, their owner has came out and says that he wants them to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
If they make the playoffs, they have to send their 29. It's the Clippers we're speaking about,
Clippers,
Steve
yep.
Ballmer. If they make the playoffs, they have to send their 2019 first round pick to Boston, and thus have one less asset to either use for a promising young player or perhaps on Anthony Davis in a trade package this summer to New Orleans when they back to taking bids. If they miss the playoffs, however, they would then send Boston their lottery-protected 2020 first rounder. It conveys as a 2022 second rounder if they miss the playoffs again next season.
Yeah. Or they make it again next season, right?
No, if they miss the
They
playoffs.
miss it. Oh, okay. Okay, that makes sense. Okay.
So he said, "The hell with all that. We want to make it even after trading our leading scorer Tobias Harris." So he put pressure on the organization to still go out and
To
compete.
play the good guys, not just the
Yep.
young guys.
So
And they've been good.
yeah, I'm looking at it right
pretty
now. They're
good.
33 and 27.
Mm-hmm.
Godly.
I mean, they beat up
The
on a bad
Lakers-
Grizzlies
the
team
Lakers
and a
got
grass
the-
Suns
I
team.
didn't realize the Lakers had this much ground to cover.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah,
I
it's
was-
gonna be a
they're like
struggle.
4 games
I was
out.
praying the Grizzlies just pulled through it and beat the Clippers, but I had to come to the realization that they just suck.
The Grizzlies suck.
Like, besides maybe Mike Conley, and I mean,
And whoa. Somebody had a great game last night.
who?
Joe Kim Noah put
Oh,
up
he
20
did.
and 11.
He did.
Vintage.
Vintage. even though Montrezl Harrell gave him 30 in return, but hey, vintage.
And the Clippers have some winnable games.
And
A lot
Jaren
of
Jackson
winnable
Jr. got
games.
injured, which is sad.
I looked that up when we were doing before
They,
we did
but,
the last
but,
show.
but,
Wait, what did he say?
But say what you just said.
The Clippers have a lot of.
I
winnable
scrolled through and he sees a couple bad teams, and then he say that. But I beg to differ. I think they got a balanced schedule. They just played the Grizzlies, who they beat, but then tomorrow they have to play the Nuggets. Then they play the Mavericks. Then they play the Jazz. Then they play the Kings. Then they play the Knicks. And
Is
then
it
they play
worth
the
them fighting
Lakers.
for that playoff
Thunder and Celtics. Then they play the Blazers. Then the Bulls. So they have a
They
mix.
gonna get knocked out that first round, especially if they AC.
games. Everybody is going to get knocked out that first round going against the Warriors, Mike.
Is it worth it? Sure. Yeah.
Wait, y'all looked like that. Like
It's always fun to make the playoffs.
Don't ever
I want
don't
y'all to
ever
talk
say
shit.
it. We ain't say nothing, but he also said something. What you said was loud and clear.
exactly.
At that late, it's gonna be a fight if the Lakers make that ace spot.
They're going to be. They're going to.
We really looking at.
There won't be much fight.
Mike, talk your shit.
It ain't
Talk
gonna
your
be no
shit,
sweep.
Mike.
No. How about you-
Why won't it be a sweep?
Are you happy? You happy with
He
5?
need to be worried about who got swept last year.
Oh, he wasn't a fan then. He wasn't a fan then. He was going for the Spurs.
And I seen him tweet about Nez Cantor.
Yeah,
he ain't never talked about Nez
Great
Cantor.
addition.
Come
Gave
on,
us
man.
20 off the bench.
This shit is crazy.
Really?
When was the
Realistically-
last time a player gave the Blazers
Wait,
20 off the
listen.
bench?
This is crazy that you have
That's a
like
good question.
3 teams. That shit is absurd. like,
He don't know what to say.
like that shit is crazy. It's one thing to have a bunch of favorite players, but it's like, damn. So-
I rock with a few teams.
So, but we didn't really hear all of this when you got your ass swept.
What do you mean? I said I wasn't rooting for them.
'Cause
Well, I
that's
was
when
rooting
you-
for them. Like I wasn't rooting. I was rooting for them, but like I was disappointed.
Because not even
No,
he was
no,
like
no,
a week
no, no,
into
no.
the season, he's like, I don't even like watching this Trailblazers.
Yeah.
game.
They're not really that fun to watch. To be honest.
But
Are the Knicks fun to watch?
right now, come on now.
Exactly.
But the Knicks are the worst team in the NBA, motherfucker.
Exactly.
This team is in the playoffs.
It's a thing. You can say the Hawks are fun to watch because of Trae Young, right?
Right. Very fun to
Exactly.
watch.
You can say
You
some
have
of the bad-
Damian Lillard. What do you mean?
Sometimes he's just like not that good offensively.
So why the hell?
I see what Derek is saying.
why the hell
Like
are
it just
you-
get
so-
stagnant and they
You
just
don't
do
have.
ISO
You can be a
ball.
good team and still be boring.
But
Yeah.
but you threw at me the Knicks when they're the worst team
Yeah,
in the
but
league.
I'm just
throwing
saying
at
you could be a
playoff
bad team and still be exciting to watch.
But
so
we-
they
but
literally
if you were
correlate.
not the worst team. When has the worst team in the NBA ever been exciting to watch? Tell me when.
Suns with Devin Booker.
Get the
Suns,
fuck
that
out of here,
YMCA
man.
team?
Get
So
outta
you
here.
telling me Devin Booker did not make
Devin
that team?
Booker-
I
He
agree.
is
I agree.
excited.
I agree
He
with
is
him.
excited.
That made the team worth watching,
He
right?
is excited.
I agree with him.
you talking about this year, right?
He talking
now?
about last year because that's when they were the worst team in the league. I'm
Come on,
guessing.
man. Come on. Devin
When he
Booker-
went out and
Devin-
dropped 70 on the Celtics, that was not exciting.
You watched that game?
Oh my
You
God.
watched that
First
game.
of all,
Wasn't it 70?
It was 7.
did.
Yeah, it was 7. That's right.
you watched that game?
No, I wasn't. I don't
How would you know it was exciting?
because it made people watch it, right?
First of all, big knock on the game. Is
Even
that
this year.
it wasn't exciting because they fouled at the end of the game for him to purposely get 70. So it wasn't an authentic, real 70.
But
you
until
wouldn't know
that
'cause you didn't
until that
even
point, it
fucking
was
watch
pretty exciting
Come on,
though.
man, I'm not trying to hear that shit.
Even
Y'all
this
trying to
year,
convince me
this
that
year the Suns are exciting.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Cut it out.
You could be a bad team and still be exciting to watch.
So what was the most exciting game for the Suns?
I couldn't even tell you. I'm not saying that I watched them, but I'm saying that
But listen. I don't mean to cut you off because I want you to say what everything you need to say. But how can you tell me a team is exciting and you don't watch them? That
I
makes
know
zero
people
sense.
tune into that team, and people always
They
talk
have-
about Devin Booker. and
they-
What? Like that team is not boring to watch.
We know people tune in. People tune into every team.
Yeah, they have a young core that is.
But
fun
when
to
we
watch,
watch their games, their arena is very, very empty.
they don't win games. But that doesn't mean they're not fun to watch. The Hawks have an empty arena, and Trae Young is a ticket seller.
Hey, that's a very good argument.
Trae Young sells tickets.
I know, but their arena is still empty.
Very minimal tickets though. Let's not act like.
But isn't Devin Booker a better player than him?
Hell
More
yeah.
exciting?
Hell yeah!
So
but
what's
you're
the
talking
difference?
about a player.
Okay.
And you're talking about a player and a team. That's two different things. Because to me, Damian Lillard is exciting, but with the Blazers, they're not an exciting team. That's a big difference, correct?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with the Suns. You can't tell me they're an exciting team because they have an exciting player. Because now I'm throwing the same thing back to you about the Blazers. You cannot tell me that Damian Lillard is not fun to watch. You can't.
I can't. But I can tell
Right.
you.
No, let's just answer this. Who are you rooting for at least the playoffs? The Spurs or the Portland? Pick one team.
Portland.
That's your team.
Yeah.
He's always told us his hierarchy, though. He's a Bulls fan first, a Trailblazer fan second, and the Spurs fan third,
The Blazers fan thing came from LaMarcus Aldridge.
which makes sense. And then you traveled on with the Spurs when he moved on.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
I did always see a little bit of Marcus Aldridge in his game.
He favors those post dudes. Like even last night he said my boy D Favors is going nuts. I'm like, D Favors? Who's like looking at D Favors like that's my guy?
He was going crazy.
He had a great game. He did have a great game. But
I have no problem with that. The only reason I brought it up is because he be trying to throw shade. But you need to throw shade at your own team.
I do.
he always do
I
though.
do.
What's the last shade you threw at the Portland Trailblazers?
That they're boring to watch.
That was
No,
at the beginning of the season.
He say that every time we talk about the Trailblazers.
Yeah, I said they literally play. Their style of basketball is terrible.
He's been saying that for a very long. He's been saying that for a couple years now.
but what I'm saying is, with that being said, though, you still don't throw as much shade at them as you do the Lakers, though. That's the only reason I
He
brought it
got
up
like
because
some personal against the Lakers.
I do too.
He also got some.
Yeah.
It seemed like he be having some personal against LeBron too.
No, know that's not true. He
Yeah,
literally
I
got a
have the
LeBron
jersey.
jersey.
I have the
Yeah,
LeBron
that
jersey.
can't be the truth.
No,
that can't be the truth.
Yeah, I love LeBron.
You
but
just want to talk shit to Mike or something?
I just
Because that's why
That's
you
what I do.
it. Right.
Yeah,
But like I do it because of that. But it's still deep down. I'm kind of rooting
Yeah.
against the Lakers.
I don't know why.
I don't root against no team.
For some reason, I just love it.
that's the wrong word. Root against them is the wrong word because I don't care if they win or lose. But when they lose, I do
Yeah.
like it because I can talk trash
I'm
to
gonna tell you
Mike.
the story. I'm just watching the game and I look in the group chat and I see Contrell put Lakers really signed this washed them out.
And then he went crazy in the fourth quarter.
I just ignored it because I know he just want that reaction.
Yeah, I like messing with Mike when it comes to stuff like that.
this man
And I'm
get-
gonna do that to you too. If they sign KD and Kyrie and it's not going perfect, I'm gonna do the same shit to you.
I'm gonna be okay with it because I'm gonna be at the game.
And it's like, and if they only sign Jimmy Butler this offseason, Jeff, you're gonna get a lot of shade there.
No, I won't.
From
'Cause
us,
I'll be in
probably.
Dallas. I'll be in Dallas.
Oh, you're
They have to win me back. So them getting Jimmy Butler, you're gonna laugh at them. You're not gonna laugh at me. That's number one.
I'm
Number
surprised
two,
y'all don't throw that much shade to the Bulls. Considering
It's
how
nothing to really talk about the Bulls. What am I gonna say? I
don't
like Zach.
expect them to win
First
the
of all, I'm,
no, it's not that. Just how poorly they ran.
I'm
more than
high on the
anything.
Bulls though. I think the Bulls got a good future.
Oh yeah, me too.
I like Zach.
The players
LaVine.
can't
do
control
too.
how bad the front office
I mean,
runs the team.
I'm the one that put y'all on Zach LaVine. So I mean,
Wait.
I don't.
you
ain't know Zach LaVine before you knew me,
what?
Wait, what?
That's probably true, right? That's probably true.
Mike.
Because I didn't know you for 22 years.
Mike, who put everybody on Zach LaVine?
What does that mean, though?
Yeah,
Mike,
like
Mike,
He
Mike.
didn't. Now, I don't know if he's putting on is the right word.
Right,
But he
I don't think
somebody
that is the right
He
word.
did speak about
we
Zach
knew
LaVine, like
he
was the next
scored. Like
Kobe
you
or
knew he was
something.
a scorer, and like he was a good player on the Timberwolves. But like,
That's a fact. He
Bro,
averaged
I'm not
19
even
before
talking
being
about the
traded.
Timberwolves.
what are you talking about?
I'm talking about before. That's my point.
before that.
I didn't know him before that.
I know you did. That's
But
why
I
I'm
didn't.
he
If
know
one like,
all
oh,
the light-skinned players.
Pierre's talking about him. Let me
You talking
tune
when he
in.
was in college.
Yeah, I don't know anybody at college.
Just like when the trade happened, y'all was a little about the trade.
I was very about the trade.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because y'all didn't know what y'all was getting back.
Because he was coming off the ACL.
Yeah, it had nothing to do with his game. We knew he was
Yeah.
a hooper. We just didn't know if he was going to be good after the injury.
No, y'all did.
Yes, we
Yes, we
did.
did.
Go rewatch my reaction to that trade right
Y'all
now.
didn't know nothing about Zach LaVine.
Go rewatch
That's
the
what I'm
reaction
saying.
video.
I don't care about your reaction video because
This-
when it happened, you went to go watch his highlights and
No,
then you was
that's
like,
not.
oh,
that's
okay.
not. Yeah, that's not
Cut
true.
it out, man.
That's not true.
No.
What I
So
said?
what was Zach LaVine game in Minnesota then? Tell me some things about Minnesota.
He
Zach
averaged
LaVine.
19. That's all I cared about. That he can
was
score
really
the
just a
ball.
scorer and
Yeah,
as a third option.
that was impressive. But my reaction
Come on,
was
man.
I
On
don't
how
know
many shots?
You know what
He wanted us to get him straight back.
My reaction was, I don't know if he's gonna come back and still be a
I'm
good
literally
scorer.
just doing what we just talked about.
Yeah, I know.
I'm literally just doing that. Oh man, that was funny. Y'all boys.
Is there
boys,
any other
y'all
news?
boys. Yeah,
Draymond?
Markelle Fultz.
No, yeah, with Markelle.
Markelle Fultz did some very, very interesting things.
Throw a little shade.
He says, it just excites me to know that I have a coach that's going to push you to be better and not just going to tell you what you want to hear. That was at the Magic press conference.
He's talking about Steve Clifford?
So he's throwing, he more so just throwing shade at Brett Brown.
Right, yeah, I know. But like, ugh.
And then
Steve Clifford, though?
Brett Brown's response was, he said, they spoke back and forth. He said he's a good kid, he's a good young man, and we truly wish him well, and that he didn't mean that.
But Jonathan Simmons, he been hooping.
So I think is Mark. I don't know what's.
I just want to see him on the court.
I want to see where did that
anything
come
else.
from. Where did that come from though?
I don't know.
Because I feel like the Sixers did a good job to protect him and not let him fall flat on his face.
I mean, they probably promised him some stuff.
Yeah, it's probably in that situation like we're gonna try to give you minutes, but at the same time they're trying to compete.
Yeah,
So it's hard to
you
kind of roll him
can't.
out
Do you
there.
want minutes? Because you can't shoot.
And I wonder if it's a situation where he feels like he may be ready to come back, and they were like, "Nah, bro, you need to rehab a little bit more."
And if they said that, were they wrong? Because he can't shoot.
he can't shoot
I don't want nobody playing that.
fundamentally, like it's not that he ain't
I don't
make
know
it.
if you
It just
forgot.
looks ugly.
Or the motorcycle accident is true. What about the referee? Scott Foster versus CP3 and the Rockets. Talk to me.
The funniest thing about that, did y'all see the tech? Right?
Yeah.
Somebody pointed out how little of a tech he gave. Like when usually you do tech, you
Yeah.
boom, but he did. The little tech, yeah. Go rewatch that. He did the little tech, 2-finger tech. It was warranted. I mean, they were in his ear all game. Him
Yeah.
and D'Antoni were in his ear all game.
I feel like when you annoy a referee to a certain point, they're not gonna give you calls.
No,
And when
I
you're
don't even think it's
when
that.
you're known as that player that they don't like, when they come into the game, they're against you already. You're already against.
Yeah, because last year against your team, the Blazers, they had something, and after the game, Chris Paul said something sarcastic like, "Yeah, we know he's who the people come pay to see," or something like that.
Yeah.
So
They
it's
didn't
some
shoot free
history.
throws for like the last 20 minutes of that game.
And
It's
Harden
kind of hard
had-
to believe with James Harden on that team.
Harden had 4 offensive fouls, and if you
Some
really,
of those were
yeah,
those
they're
were offensive fouls.
they're
The only one that was
offensive
kind of like
LeBron?
sketches the Rondo one. Rondo kind of pestered him as he's bringing the ball up, and they just
Oh
called, like,
yeah. When
offensive foul.
Rondo literally hit his elbow with his face.
And
like,
they
it was
called offensive
Rondo's
foul.
fault. It was
Yeah, they called
Rondo's fault.
offensive foul.
So should Scott Foster referee any more of their games? Yes or no?
If the world sees and they believe that there is a personal vendetta, then no. Send them somewhere else to ref.
Thoughts on KD
but I don't know if I feel
and
that way.
Kyrie All-Star Weekend trolling?
I'm pretty sure.
I love it.
Yeah,
The media gonna take whatever and run with it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
and you could tell that KD was trying like hard not to laugh. If you really look at it,
Yeah, because it's like out of all weekend, the one time they
When
talk
there's
about it, it's in the
everybody
hallway.
there, right? You got my phone number if you really want to
If
talk.
It was trolling, though, did you see Kyrie's response? It was kind of like he was upset that they even asked him about that. If that was his whole point to do so.
I think that was just him giving them something else to talk about. I think he enjoys giving the media something.
They know what they talking about.
Just like he wore
Sumac
that
spots in
shirt.
Chicago.
He wore that shirt or something about being honest to your teammates or something recently against the Bucks, I think. Porzingis wasn't psyched about the idea of playing alongside KD because he wants to be the face of the franchise.
Mm-hmm. Well, sorry to say that in Dallas, you won't be the face of the franchise, Porzingis. They got it. They got it in Luka.
So yeah,
So I don't know where he can go and be the face of the franchise and win a championship. It's okay to be the number 2
So
option.
at their best, if Porzingis is the best player he can be and the best player Luka can be,
I'm sure Luka's still going to be the face of the franchise because he was drafted there.
oh, you mean in that sense?
oh yeah.
Okay.
And player wise,
No.
the ball handler is usually going to be the face of the franchise. There's 2 stars. It's kind of the way it
I'm talking
works.
about who would be the better player.
At their peaks, I couldn't tell you what Luka's going to be like. I couldn't tell you what Porzingis going to be like on his peak.
why couldn't you?
We saw Porzingis like
We see
an
what
all-star.
type of player Luka is too. I know he can.
Both of
develop
them are
an
going to
ad.
be like all-star caliber players, but I don't know.
I'm asking
who's
you
gonna be better.
from what you've seen out of both of them. If they are the best,
I'm putting my stock in Luka more than in Porzingis
because it's an injury or just
because
at the
of
best
basketball.
player? Oh yeah, you wildin'.
I'm glad you brought the injury up too, just because like it's kind of iffy since he's 7'3". I don't know. I
Injuries
always
are gonna always plague him at
I
least
feel
a little
He's
bit.
always gonna be a little bit of play, and I'm not saying he's gonna go down with no,
Right.
Big time.
injuries.
But if I'm choosing
during-
a 6'6" guy who can do everything, and I'm taking a 7'3" guy who can face up, shoot threes, block shots,
Defend.
give me that. Give me that all day. Give me that. Laker fan, thoughts on the Lakers? Come on, man. Second half, they just had a good win. What we doing?
Why do we do this with the Lakers but not any other team?
They had a
No,
very, because
did you see-
they the one team that should be in
They
it.
had the video come out. I think it was in the first half. Somebody shot a 3-ball and it missed, and LeBron just
Walk
like
back.
Yeah,
That was Contavious Caldwell-Pope.
yeah, which
and
was a
that's
terrible
when they
shot.
said the
Which was a
playoff
terrible
ruled
shot.
out.
Because he had Austin Rivers on his ass in the
Yep.
post. Give him the damn
And
ball.
I think I mentioned this earlier, but
That's what I meant. That's what I more so meant. LeBron saying that he's activating the mode.
Yeah.
early.
He said that?
Yeah.
Okay. Because he's going to have to. They're like 3 games
He's
behind.
gonna have to activate it earlier than he would like to. Obviously, one of that reasons because he had to miss time, and even before that, he wasn't terrible. Obviously, the stats gonna be that he's the best player in the world, but you could just tell like
He didn't activate it. It wasn't playoff LeBron.
Right, he
It
wasn't
wasn't.
even like putting in his full effort into
Yeah.
it.
And he still had a good game without putting in his full effort.
I knew he was activated after that dunk he had.
The Statue of Liberty one.
Anytime you could, it was a good sign when he doesn't take those step back threes consistently. When he look at that ball, he got a mismatch. I want him see him blow past people.
Is that what playoff activated mean? He's not settling. He just attack full attack mode.
Hopefully, and Brandon Ingram, shout out to him because he played very well.
LeBron actually defaulted. He didn't default to him, but it seems like he learned that if I give him the ball and just let him do him and not make him be a spot up shooter, he can actually
Get
take the
his.
pressure off me.
Right.
Yeah, if you make Brandon Ingram a spot up shooter, you negate all his true talent.
Ooh, well, look at that boy using words.
That's a fact because he airballed that wide open one in the corner.
He airballed a few.
That was another one where LeBron put his head down when Brandon Ingram airballed that. Yeah,
That's when I tweeted. This guy really
my boy
can't.
Campaign Camo say, man, it's just takeover season for LeBron, and I hope he do it. I think the Lakers need to be in the playoffs. AFC versus the Warriors first round will be very interesting. Luke Walton fired regardless.
I don't know. I'm gonna give him his credit though.
When is Lonzo coming back?
We
Don't know. He had a setback.
Yeah, he had another setback, so that's gonna be tough.
Draymond Green signing with Rich Paul. Is he a future Laker, Mike?
I wouldn't mind it, but
Oh my gosh!
I wouldn't
Yo
mind
ass
it.
tweaking,
you
bro.
I wouldn't
tripping.
mind it.
Like Draymond's good, obviously, but
tripping.
your ass tweaking,
He
bro.
tripping.
He doesn't fit.
Y'all want everybody literally. Now I see
Yeah.
what people
No,
talk about.
Now
the
that's
Lakers.
when they just Photoshop and stuff.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna strike out on somebody in free agency this year, and you're gonna give him Draymond Green a
Green.
max.
He probably worth like
LeBron gonna cry in the
15
car
-ish.
calling Draymond. 15
$15,000.
15 what?
$1,000, $1 million.
$15,000.
Damn.
He's more valuable than
I was finna
$15
say,
million.
Draymond getting 20.
Yo
at the
ass
least.
tweaking. J.R. Smith makes $15 million this year.
Yeah, we spoke about JR before the season started
I'm not
because
speaking on J.R. Smith no more.
I'm just saying like that.
Bring up some of them wild predictions. Let them go on clown
So,
me.
so we had an episode before the season started of us giving our bold predictions. One of Mike's bold predictions was that the Pistons were going to be the 8th seed, which was not really
not
a bold
bold.
prediction. My boldest prediction was that the Spurs weren't going to make the playoffs. They're in the playoffs right now. Pierre said that the Cavs could win 40 games and J.R. Smith could average 20. And then
But the context with the JR part is that they asked me who would score. I said JR could average 20 points because he's averaged 18 and 19 before in his career.
and Derek's
How long ago
one.
was that?
In
I don't
New
know.
York,
but
that
I
was
just
in New
don't-
York. He
I
averaged
just don't-
18.
I just don't want people to think that I just came up here like JR gonna average 20. It's different. I did say that about the Cavs that they could win 40. But the JR thing came because of that. I don't want people to think that I was coming here high smoking on crack talking about JR
I
just
remember
going to
who I
average
thought
20.
was gonna have a good season. For
Who was that?
Too. Dwight Howard. I said he's
Oh,
gonna be the best
yeah.
John Wall, and they
You
not
did
even
say
playing.
that.
Yeah, we all thought. I think everybody thought he would
Dwight
be a
Howard
good
could be
fit.
coming back soon. I believe so.
Why?
I don't know.
And then
They just said-
Derek said that the Mavs are going to make the playoffs.
I was right for a minute.
You're for about a month or two. And then we all had some that we were right about. I mean, I said the Bucks were gonna be a top 3 seed. I said De'Aaron Fox was gonna average 20. He ain't averaging 20, but he took a big step.
He's
Mike,
averaging like 18.
he's averaging like 18.
That mean you was wrong.
I was wrong. No, I said I was wrong.
No, I want you to say you was
I was
wrong.
wrong, but I was right. And then Mike had one that he was right about. But it wasn't your bold predictions
Pistons,
weren't
right,
even
the
bold.
Pistons.
Yeah, that's you're right. But that's not even a bold. That wasn't even a bold prediction coming into the season.
Is what he said.
They were projected to win 40 games, and guess what? They're about to win about 40 games this
How'd
season.
y'all feel about what Dave Yeager did?
With Buddy Hield.
Hield.
That's a good one. He hit the shot. He hit the
did.
one before that, and
I
then
don't
he was
understand the
timid
problem.
after that because of Dave
Yeah.
Yeager's. I don't like
I would have
it.
let it
Yeah.
fly.
Let the boy play.
I would have let it fly.
I was just
don't
like, how
care.
you gonna bash a player from putting your team in a winning position? It literally made no sense.
That's jackass shit.
Dave Yeager don't want to be their coach, but we'll talk about that on a future episode because he ain't actually said that, but he's always trying to interview for other jobs here and there. What's job that he really want that he interviewed for?
Was it the Bucks?
Can y'all talk? Let me look this up.
Let's just get some teams. Some Bucks, the Raptors. Who has some coaching?
So he not
vacancies?
a fit for a young team.
He doesn't want a young team.
the
He
Grizzlies?
wants to be one of those teams that are almost there.
The Hornets, didn't they have a?
No, it
The
wasn't.
Knicks?
It wasn't the Hornets.
No,
No,
he wasn't with us. The Pistons, the Raptors.
Damn, bro, how can I find this?
It had to be the Bucks. That was the only other team. The
I don't
Bucks.
think it was the Bucks.
No,
This is before he got the job at Sacramento. He was interviewing for some spot, and I don't even know what to Google to find it out. Somebody in the comment section gonna know though.
Pacers.
It was one of those teams that was a French playoff team or a war playoff team. He was like, I want to take over, and it might have been a team that. Where did he come from? Where did he assistant coach before he got, his head
Was it
coaching
the
job?
Nuggets.
I couldn't even tell you.
Could have been the Nuggets.
It might have been the Nuggets, but I can't.
Nuggets, Lakers,
It was not the Lakers. I can tell you that much.
Timberwolves, Suns. Was it the Suns?
I don't think so. I don't know. We'll
Pelicans,
figure it out. I
Grizzlies?
don't really know. I don't
Listen,
want to spend too much
Kings,
time.
Clippers, Spurs, Jazz.
You're saying
Rockets.
everybody, and it's not gonna click. It's not gonna click. We'll figure it out and
Hawks.
talk about it. It was. Not, it was.
Could have been Hawks, baby. Magic,
Hell no.
Orlando, the Heat, the Pistons. What about the Pistons? What about the Hornets?
Nobody wants to
Oh,
coach
could have
the
been the
Pistons.
Hornets. Could have been the Hornets. Could have been no. On serious,
Yeah.
no. It could have been the Hornets. Maybe the Nets.
Any other?
No,
moves
I
you
had
got?
Kenny Atkinson for
I
a
think
while.
that's everything.
Wait, we gonna figure this out. Y'all keep talking. Close this out while I find this.
Thank y'all so much for watching this episode of Through the Wire. Back at the set, of course, back to our normal schedule of Wednesdays and Sundays. Basketball talk is. We still got 25 games left of the regular season, and of course, we're gonna have playoff coverage. We do everything around here, No days off ever. We've been doing this for almost 2 years now. We ain't really took no days off.
Kings coach Dave Yeager on Timberwolves job.
It might have been the Wolves. Click on that link. It might have been the Wolves. What was his quote?
My focus is right here.
It was the Wolves. That
Jimmy
was the
Butler.
team. That was the team. It was the Wolves.
Hey, I guess he's happy now.
Everybody, before we leave,
Okay.
wish the Lakers.
No, I'm not wishing. I'm not wishing
y'all.
Lakers
We
nothing,
need
bro.
the Pelicans.
Hey,
We
take
I'm
over
not
the season
wishing-
for Brown, I
We
guess.
need to
but-
beat the Pelicans tonight.